This is gorgeous. Not even
And we'll
cold.
push record.
Perfect. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Flower of Life Show. I'm your host, Selena Wong, and we have our very special guest, Sarah Bradshaw. Again, which is wonderful. And I would just want to wish everybody a wonderful, happy harvest moon. It's so important. And I think that for a lot of us that are interested in growing not only your vegetables, but also cannabis, this is a very special, almost holiday. So we're here celebrating with you live from my garden.
Yeah, surrounded by the girls.
Yeah, so we wanted to give you a little bit of a tour of what's been going on. Lots in the last couple of weeks. One of the main things is my big tall girl here decided to kind of floop over. So if Dayton wants to come in, Dayton's my brother from another mother behind the camera. I just wanted to show you these gorgeous buds as they're developing. They're not quite ready yet, but they are definitely coming along.
We've got maybe a week and we've got good weather coming, so.
Oh, that's gorgeous. And for those of you with smell-o-vision, if you can imagine taking a big whiff of Concord grapes.
Yeah, this is the most grape-scented pot I've encountered.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't smell pineapple-y. It smells very grapey.
Yeah, it's gorgeous stuff.
Look at all those buds hiding down below and up at the top. Beautiful colas.
They're doing so well.
So, Selena, you know why it's called the harvest moon, don't you?
I do.
Why is it called the harvest moon?
It is the harvest moon because this is the first full moon around the autumnal equinox. So usually, like we were talking about earlier, the harvest moon falls at the end of September, but this year is really special because we get the harvest moon at the beginning of October.
Yeah.
And I just love that this month we actually have a blue moon, which means that there's 2 full moons in 1 month. So right now we have the harvest moon, and later on we might be able to catch a glimpse. It's a little bit smoky, cloudy here today. But in a month on Halloween, on Samhain, we're going to have our hunter moon, which is a whole other aspect of energy, definitely. So the other reason why people were calling it a harvest moon is because this is a really interesting full moon in that instead of it taking, maybe an hour or more for the moon to show up, usually it shows up within 20 to 30 minutes after sunset, which means that for those people who were harvesting, they had a lot more light to do it under.
Yep, the light just kept right on coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that for my grandmother, my Oma, that I shared with you guys earlier, she absolutely loved the harvest moon time. This was the time for her when they were on the farm. They would be wrapping up all of those intense chores, getting the gardens put to bed, and they would have a big party. So this is something where it is really a celebration that, we've made it through the harvest. We've got all of our bounty. We've got security and sustainability to bring us through, which is like, so exciting.
Yeah, I always like that our Canadian Thanksgiving is in October.
Yeah.
I always like that. To me, it just feels like the perfect time to be feasting.
Absolutely. And as you can see, we've got still most of the sunflowers. For a time, they were actually holding this girl up, but we started harvesting these 3 girls. It's time. And for those of you who have been growing for a while, we know that, it's not just, however many days until fruition. The plants really tell us when they're ready. So these 3 were like, it's time. So it was time for them last night / this morning. I've actually been up. I was up last night until 3 a.m. and I was woken up again at 7. So I haven't slept very much. This is a really high energy time, but really special. And for those of you that are tuning in, one of the things that happened for me this week was I kind of had a freak out. I was looking at the leaves of my plant and I was like, what's going on? Does she have powdery mildew? What's happening? So Sarah and I did some really good deductive reasoning. And what we found on this plant anyways is that she's got, you were saying it's like scarring.
Yeah, it's like scarring. If you see, this leaf is particularly noticeable with the lighter colored spots. So this plant got either heavily watered from above,
which she did, unfortunately.
And, but instead of succumbing to powdery mildew or mold of any kind, it's like these leaves have recovered. And It's actually a really, really good trait to have in your outdoor plants because fall's unpredictable. We got a nice dry one this year, you know, for the most part. But once it starts to rain, man, mold and bud rot and powdery mildew, they can just take over everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where too, part of my thought process, I mean, we're in central southern-ish BC, and I'm really mindful of making sure that, you know, we don't have those really muggy nights. And I know for the last several nights, we've had a lot of fog.
Yeah.
A lot of moisture.
Dew. Yeah.
A lot of dew. And it's something where, you know, I'm kind of like weighing, I'm like, do I wait until they finish all the way, or do I pull them a little bit early to make sure that I save the crop?
Yeah.
Just to try and curb anything that could potentially get out of control.
This one, I think you're going to be okay. It's got big enough and heavy enough buds and not too much leaf. Yeah, but you've got other ones over there that are right on that you're harvesting.
Yeah, we're in the middle of harvesting these ones right now, these girls.
Yeah, if we can get a close up of some of the buds, people can maybe see the difference between those ones over there that were still on the greenish side and these ones that are more getting into the amber to red range.
Yeah.
So that's an important indicator.
So you're talking about the hairs, or you're talking about the trichomes?
The trichomes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, the cannabis plant loves the 12-12 balance. So right around the equinox into this time, it's perfect for bringing it into bud. But like you said, you're in this race against time in terms of moisture and temperature. And
yes,
at least the bugs aren't as aggressive.
Well, and that's the fun part is, you know, as we've been harvesting, I've been noticing, I mean, there's a couple of little spiders that'll fall out. I've even had a couple of ants, and it's just one of those things where I'm like, okay, back outside, go find a new home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dayton, did you want to come take a look at these girls over here? There's some other really juicy colas that are starting to develop, specifically over here. And like Sarah was saying, you know, they are starting to turn, but I think they still need a little bit of time. They smell so good.
Sure do.
Here, I'll move my hand. Maybe that helps a little bit. Yeah, they're doing really well.
Oh, good and healthy.
And I hear a cat meowing in the distance. I know she's mine. Meow, meow. Come. I don't know if you can hear Artemis, but she's meowing at you all and she's saying hello. I suspect she may have caught something because she's quite vocal right now. That's also been happening. She brought a mouse into the house the other day. That was very exciting.
Stocking up for winter?
I think so. She also left, I'm not going to show you guys, but on the other side of this plant here, there is a mouse head. That's all that's left. A little scary. Yeah, but I just wanted to show you, I mean, this is our big mama here. And she is looking so happy and healthy.
I love the support you've given her. That's awesome. What is that? A tomato cage?
Yeah, there's a tomato cage. I know she kind of blew over, and I was trying to get her back up. And
well, that's awesome. Like tying them up, giving them support so they don't collapse. Yeah, very good.
Hope you're all enjoying the view. Now, one of the things I did want to share with everybody tonight is a simple process that I like to go through when I'm getting ready to harvest the girls. We are going to harvest a little bit tonight, and we are going to show you everything from the ceremony and the rituals around it to how to start trimming and deleafing your plants, as well as how to begin to prepare them for either consumption or conversion into other products. So I think that's very exciting. And the fact that the sun is just setting right now is actually perfect. So I'm just going to grab my sage. I did bring some special smudge. This smudge, I'll show you up close. Oh, thank you so much. So this smudge bundle actually comes from a Cree elder in our community that we're working with right now. He has actually grown this white buffalo sage himself. We got to harvest some a couple of weeks ago. That was very special. And what he's done is he's added in rose petals from his garden, as well as lavender. So when we think about smudge, you know, it's not only getting rid of energies that no longer serve us or don't belong to us, or lower dense energies. But it's also a prayer, and it's a way for us to call in our prayers. And as the smudge smoke is shifting all of those unwanted or unnecessary energies, let's say, we get to bring in this new energy, our intentions.
I think of it as washing my etheric body with the smoke, just as I would shower with water.
Yes.
Yeah, it just like clears out all the negativity.
Absolutely. And the other very special friend I have here, this is a smudge fan that's made by a really great artist. Her name's Mari. You can get your own smudge fan through her. What she does is she actually channels plant medicines, and then she's inspired to make these fans. So this one was obviously channeled with Santa Maria cannabis, and it also has.
And just for you.
I know. She gifted me with this about a year ago now.
Yep.
At the psychedelic symposium that Selena put on,
yep.
where Sarah and I were both speakers. This features these beautiful feathers that are actually cut into this shape. Thank you, Dayton. It's cut into the shape of the cannabis leaf, and it's got 9 eagle feathers. And Mari, she had heard my story after our dispensary didn't work out due to legalization. We both had a good cry, and she presented me with this fan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start smudging Sarah, and hopefully she'll be able to smudge me. Mm-hmm. And Dayton, can I just have you hold this for just a moment? Or Sarah, actually, yeah, hold it, yeah. So normally I would not use a Bic lighter. When I think about the butane that's in it, probably not the best. However, I don't have a hemp wick on me, so we're just going to make do. So I'm going to first offer this to you. Please enjoy it. And allow anything that you'd like to wash away to just effortlessly move away. And as we purify our etheric bodies, we also purify our minds, our spirit, our emotions, and our physical self. Thanks, Sarah. Now I'd like to offer this to you.
Okay.
Would you like me to do your feet?
Yes.
Yeah. I always like to do the feet and also in between the skirt. That's just me. And as you can see, both Sarah and I are wearing our purple skirts. Very festive. We did not even plan it.
Nope.
It just kind of happened that way. So I'm just going to dip it under there for a minute. It won't catch on fire.
Get the holy cone happening.
Yeah. Perfect. So I just want to say thank you to Charles and your beautiful family for gifting us with this smudge. Would you like this, or do you want to just use this to
just help it
just get it going?
along? Okay, there we go. Okay.
Thank you.
So.
Do one of those.
Yeah.
Get it under the holy cone.
Well, in Native tradition, women wore a skirt as a symbol of power. And it was like the teepee on the prairie that is a cone. And so with the woman's power, you have this cone, there you go, that allows you to direct and gather the energy, and you bring it up to the top of the cone where it rests in the sacred yoni. You know, so when people say, well, you know, it's okay for women to wear pants in ceremony. You're right, it is okay for women to wear pants in ceremony. But when you do that symbolic skirt and building up that cone, you're calling in a whole different energy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for that. So if you are looking for your own smudge fan, if you go to Trillium Healing Path on Instagram, that's Mari. Definitely send her a message first. Let her know that we sent you, and also send her love. Okay. We're going to move over here. And I think this next portion, it would be perfect if we just did right here. So Dayton, maybe you want to come here and then, yeah. Dayton's telling me we need a little bit more light because it's getting dark. Ooh, is that deer in the headlight?
You need me to hold that?
It's a teamwork kind of day, which I appreciate. So the next portion of this that I like to do is I really like to take a moment and I like to bring myself to the ground. And I like to sit with Gaia. Gaia is our Earth Mother. She is, oh, Sarah, we got this. Gaia is our Earth Mother. And she is the whole reason why all of us are here. And I think it's really important, especially as we're preparing to harvest, to honor the mother of the life that gives us all the opportunity to be here together. You can imagine we're all cells on her body. And it's really exciting to be able to be a part of this unfolding. And what I like to do is I like to close my eyes and tune into Gaia. And I allow my hands to touch the ground. And I just take a moment to connect. Thanking her, breathing with her, aligning with her. And if you can imagine, as our Earth Mother, she loves you unconditionally. Even though humanity makes a lot of mistakes and does a lot of harm, she still holds this unconditional love for us all. She still continues to gift us all of the food, all the resources that we need. And it's through our connection with Gaia that we are able to live a truly fulfilling life. One where everything we need is provided. Thank Gaia. Put your head on the ground. And feel that you are one. The other thing I like to do is center into my heart. So really just bring my awareness there. And breathing. And I like to affirm sacred space. I don't ask for protection. I affirm what already is, which is safety and security. And what I do is I create this beautiful energy bubble around me, connecting my energy with Gaia, bringing it back up and in, and really solidifying that connection. You might hear Kitty meowing in the background. Come! Oh, and there's Apollo. Come, baby. The kitties like to be part of things too. I know you caught something, baby. I know. I'll look at it later. The next thing I like to do is take a moment and turn towards cannabis. So I'm actually going to get right into the garden bed with her. What I like to do is just take a moment. And I like to feel her leaves as if we're holding hands. Just let her know I'm here. I mean, she already knows, but just be really intentional about it. I like to smell her flowers. And just really appreciate her structure. Now, I know that her roots through the mycelium is connected to all the other plants here in the garden. So as I tell her what today is, which is the harvest moon, I imagine that she will let everybody else know. So as I connect with her and I let her know that this next week is harvest week, and when you're ready, please let us know. The way that she lets me know is I hear a really high-pitched tone. It's and it gets louder for me as harvest time comes nearer. Now, Sarah was sharing also that the way that you can tell by looking at the flower when she's ready is when those trichomes turn from clear to milky white, and sometimes even an amber color, depending on the cultivar. Now, I've worked with this girl before, and as you can see, you know, she's got this frost that's starting to form, and those little hairs are starting to turn amber. So like Sarah was sharing, we're probably about a week out from her harvest date. But I have asked cannabis, and there is a plant here in the garden that is willing for us to show you the process of how we harvest her medicine. And there's a song that I sing to cannabis as I harvest her, and I invite you to sing it with me. It goes like this. Thank you for the healing, and thank you for the medicine. Thank you for the healing, and thank you for the medicine. And it just keeps going. So as I'm trimming every cut, I'm saying thank you for the healing and thank you for the medicine. And what you'll see inside is that Sarah and I, we like to enjoy the process of trimming. So it's not about, oh, here's waffles. It's not about being the fastest. It's about being the most present. So we'll show you that in a moment. So I know it's dark, but we're gonna move over to one of the plants over here, who is mostly ready. And she's given me permission to, ooh, that's bright. Now I look like a campfire scary person. She's given me permission to trim a few branches so we can show you the process of actually plucking and preparing her. Oh, that's great, Sarah, thank you. So again, we are gonna find some spider friends in here. I know there's a big orb spider in this one. She may have moved, we will find out. What I like to do usually is actually cut right at the base. So just actually a one cut right at the base. Now she's not fully ready. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut a few branches so you can see.
Or you could take the one over there that we were working on.
Oh, I moved it to the side. We'll do this one. It's okay. It's okay. But what I like to do is I like to get right up underneath. You can see here, she's got these incredible thick stalks. And when you see my snips, you'll see that those aren't gonna get all the way through. So what I do instead, normally what I would do is I would cut right here at the base, right at the very bottom before any of the growth, just to make it quick for her. Now she knows that this is coming and she's prepared. She's like, do it.
I'm going to go get the other clippers.
You know what? I've got the 2 pairs of these, but I don't have my big ones here.
Oh, I've got them.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. Oh. All right. Now, what was I going to say here? What I like to do before I cut is I like to thank cannabis for her contribution to furthering life for humanity. So, my dear, thank you, Sarah. My dear, thank you so much for growing in my garden this year and for allowing us to cultivate a relationship together. Thank you for taking time to get to know me as I got to know you. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for growing so strong so that I may receive your medicine and share it with my community, with my family and my friends. It is with all my love that I make these next cuts. And I thank you for your contribution and for your unconditional love. Today is not the day for you, my friend, to fully go. But if this were a plant that was getting prepared, I would let her know that this is the final moment. And usually there's a surrender that I feel in their energy. But for these purposes, what I'm going to do is attempt to cut here. Thank you for the healing, and thank you for the medicine. Thank you for the healing, and thank you for the medicine. Thank you for the healing, and thank you for the medicine. I love you so much. Beautiful. Now, for light's sake, I think it's time to go inside.
Yep.
All right.
Here, hand me those clippers.
Thanks, Sarah. So this is my little makeshift apothecary at home. This used to actually be my Oma's canning kitchen. There we go. Just gonna get David right there. And what we did is we converted it into more of a canning kitchen. Now, some of you probably saw the picture at the beginning of the episode of this gorgeous painting. And I just wanted to bring your attention here because, come closer. Because this was actually painted by a dear friend of mine, Carrie Dewars, also known as Carrie Whitefeather. And this is called Medicine Woman. And I'd really like to read to you the write-up that her husband had prepared. And Sarah, it's actually behind you there on that sheet of paper.
This?
Okay. Thank you. So this is the Rise of the Divine Feminine Drummer series. Can I ask you to just hold it up higher, Dayton? Thank you. It was after a very inspiring and spiritually uplifting drumming session by the Void Drumming Group that the Divine Feminine Drummer series was born. Now, Ron, her partner, is an avid drummer in the community and a sound therapist. According to ancient oral traditions, the goddesses ruled with gods, an age where women's spirituality, wisdom, and sexuality were affirmed through rituals that involved drumming. Now in an age where people are rediscovering the communal and healing powers of rhythm, the natural magic of the divine feminine is rising, fostering in a new belief that is largely free from violence or grandiosity, one that is in harmony with the natural rhythms of being. In magic of the group's rhythm, the goddesses are reborn, acting as an intermediary between the divine and human realms. Aligning themselves with the sacred rhythms, they invoke the transformative divine energy, transmitting it to the community in a heavenly caress of love. As diverse and beautiful as the wildflowers in a mountain valley, Each goddess brings their own unique expression to the circle of life for the benefit of all beings. The medicine woman walks softly through the forests, gathering the earth's plant children for her divine medicine work. In a deep prayer and gratitude, she understands the great unconditional sacrifice these spirits make so other beings can be healed. Respect and honor radiates from her heart, and she understands to take only what she needs so future generations may receive the blessings and love of nature's healing. It is the love that radiates from her and the medicine plant's heart, which ignites the burning fire of one spirit, kindling the healing within. I want you to come take a closer look, because as you can see, she's obviously holding our dear friend cannabis. It's the harvest moon. And you'll notice that the 4 elements are present here: earth, air, fire, and water. Notice our little friends here, our magical little mushroom friends, as well as other healing herbs, the dandelions, for example, that she cultivates for healing. We have the birch tree, which is a really strong symbol of health and healing in the community. Thanks for showing, Dayton. And then if you want to take your gaze down, I want to show you this really cool piece of art that we have here to supercharge our medicines. This is a symbol called Metatron's Cube. And this piece of art was created by a local artist named Aaron Metz. He has taken, he's the coolest artist I've ever seen. He is, other than Carrie for other reasons, but what he's done is he's taken selenite, which is a type of healing crystal that clears negative energy, supercharges things with a very high positive vibration, and he's infused it into a piece of sacred geometry, and then he's poured resin that's ethically sourced over it. So when we did have our dispensary, we would take all of our medicines and we would supercharge them here. And now, because I still have this piece that was gifted to me from Stephen Simons, thank you so much. We still continue to supercharge my medicine and the medicines that I share with the community here. Everything has intention. And I think that's a really important part, is being really mindful of the intention that you're bringing to everything you do. Now, we have this beautiful stalk in front of us. And Sarah and I want to show you how we deconstruct cannabis and get her prepared for either hanging to dry, which is one of my favorite ways to prepare her. So Dayton wanted to show them here. What I've done is I've got these different lines of twine that I've hung there, and I've got my cannabis started to dry. And what will happen, I'll show you in a minute, is these little fan leaves, these teeny tiny little sugar leaves, I should say, I've removed the fan leaves, will basically fall and they will cover that beautiful bud and protect the trichomes. And once they harden, which I'll show you in a minute, they're just very easy to remove. And it perfectly preserves that bud and the medicine. And it's a really great way to reduce loss. So you're not accidentally knocking off trichomes as you're trying to do a really close, for example, California trim, which Sarah and I are not huge fans of. All right. So Sarah, we have this beautiful girl in front of us, and she obviously needs to be done, or needs to have a process called deboning with her.
Yeah, so I start at the bottom.
I do too.
Yeah, and ones like this, like that, nothing on this is really worth hanging on to except this one lower bud. So I would do that with that bud. And that's about as far as I would take that.
Yeah.
Because with these little ones, we toss them into a bowl like that, and then they can be frozen and used in smoothies, in a variety of ways. So plants grow in sort of a spiral. And so as you trim, you can kind of follow that spiral around. Oh, tough one here.
I know, she's thick.
Huge. See, you just go around and there's the next one. You also notice that cannabis tends to do one small branch and then one big skookum one. Whoops. One small one and then a bigger skookum one. And as we get into trimming the actual flower, you'll see that it goes that way kind of all the way up the stem, a small one and a big one.
And this is like a heavy branch, so here we go.
And I think I'll take that one off and that one, and then cola. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Okay, so that's step one.
So now we're left with what looks like a big mess, but it's actually so much fun.
Yeah.
So actually, do you mind if I take what you've got there? So this is the top. This is our big cola, which is just so special. Do you want to give that a smell?
Yeah.
She smells so great, you guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what I like to do is I actually like to flip her over. I'm holding her at the base here, and what I'm doing is I'm just removing all of these fan leaves. And you'll notice that the ones on the very bottom are very easy to just pull down, and they'll just kind of snap. And a lot of people, if they go too fast, they'll kind of rip them. And what we want to do is just,
Sometimes it helps. Sometimes it helps to take your one finger, hold the fan leaf and take one finger.
Yeah.
And push in at the bottom.
Like this. So we've got our fan, oh, where are we here, Dayton? All right, so we've got our fan leaf here, and I just push off the bud, and that's it. So we're just pushing off. So what we do is we just remove these fan leaves as much as we can. Anything that could potentially just be kind of meh, we just move them to the side. And then what I do is I just get down into the middle bud there, just a little bit more. You've got a little pile going over there. Sarah is a wild child. She's actually one of the fastest trimmers I've ever met when she wants to be, but also one of the messiest.
Yeah. Yeah, I generally
Which
walk
is
out of
okay.
the trimming room wearing it.
Now you'll notice that both Sarah and I are not wearing gloves right now. If I were preparing this for a medical patient, I absolutely would be, but this is going to be for my own personal use. Plus, I like to get a little bit of a modulating effect by touching the cannabis. After time, what'll happen is I'll have this nice buildup of resin on my fingers that then becomes some finger hash that Sarah's got right here. Here. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
You keep that, that's some gold stuff. So then once we're pretty much there, what I'll do is I will just turn her upside down, and if you'll just follow me. And I will just hang her like this. And as you can see, she's got this little branch that I can just nicely hang her from. And within about 7 to 10 days, she'll be ready.
Okay. Now,
do you want to show them how you're doing it?
Yeah. Okay, so if you take off the fan leaves and you want to do a slightly tighter trim, see we've got all the fan leaves off. Now I find there's two ways to do it. One is if you turn the plant upside down like this, you can distinctly see the lighter underside of the leaves. See how distinct that is? And that allows you to come in with your tip of your scissors. And this is why I make a mess, because I do it like this.
And then I'll just sweep it up later.
Yeah. So you get all of those disharmonious leaves. Okay, then the other way to do it is to hold it up like this and look down on it. And again, you'll see that each little tip of the leaf sticks out. And it's very, very easy to distinguish it from the bulk of the bud. So you just move your scissors around. And again, plants go in a spiral, so work with it, you know. Spin it in the spiral and see how it works. Now this is a slightly tighter trim than what Selena has, but it still leaves enough protection that you're not going to lose trichomes. What we call a California trim is where you trim the bud so that it is a uniform cone shape, regardless of how it's grown. And there you go.
Beautiful. Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, and that can go up too.
All right. Did you want to show them? Well, this is when we have everything as wet, vegetative, fresh,
Right.
from the garden. Now, in like I said, 7 to 10 days, things are going to shift a little bit. So I'm just going to move these girls over a little bit. Unless, is there something else you want to say about these ones?
Well, I was going to show, okay, here's kind of immature bud. And it's kind of not worth, in a lot of ways, trimming. But what you can do is you hold these leaves back and grab with your thumbs and fingers and do that. So this is kind of too airy. It's not going to dry well as a bud, but again, it's going to be just fine for medicine making. So yeah, just pulling these leaves back and taking out the center. And then that actually leaves you with a nice bud right at the top that probably is worth the drying. Yeah. Take the fan leaves off. And there you go.
Do. Perfect.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Now I'm going to show you in about a week and a bit. You hold on to your pretty flower, my dear. If we were to hang, dry hand trim a whole bush, which this one was, this is actually an autoflower Northern Lights #5 cross with Pineapple Express. So yum. She was my chunky monkey from a while ago, but as you can see, these leaves have perfectly dried to a point where you can just knock them off. You just knock them off. So easy. And then that's it. So this is a process called hang, dry, hand trim. And what I will tell you is that, I know the guy that invented the twister machine. So, having those machine trims will knock off a ton of the trichome.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll lose a lot of medicine. And this way, you literally just slowly break these leaves off. And that's it. That's the trimming process. And then it's very simple. When I talk about what are the best tools, Sarah and I, we really enjoy these scissors.
Yeah.
These ones are called herb bifiskars. They've got a spring. Now, if you're trimming for like 6 days in a row, your hand's going to get super sore. And if you're trying to be fast, these can be a little bit impeding at times. So
but they save your wrist.
They do. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So for example, if I am, let's say this is the one I want. I'm going to get rid of these extra sugar leaves. And a lot of people will save this. This is what a lot of hash oil is made from. So save that and it'll just fall onto my table here and I'll just scoop it in after. What I like.
Yeah, your trimming is not garbage. It can be used in cooking. It can be used in hash making. It can be used in medicine making. And it actually, I think it really embellishes the medicine to have more than just the flower component, that there are compounds in the leaves and that are good too.
Absolutely. I've actually even got the roots because I pulled out the root balls from those 3 girls. And I'm going to be using those for medicine as well. I'm going to wash those up tomorrow, dry them, and make some teas. But as you can see, I've got a little fuzz on me. I'll get that. When I'm using my hands, it's very easy then to just remove the bud. I just snap it with my fingernail right here. You can see that right there. I'm using my fingernail as kind of like a fulcrum or like a pivot point, and I just break it back. It's very simple. And I find that that's actually one of the fastest ways to get it off. So without getting rid of all these leaves. It's the same idea as you just snap them back. Oh, and this fuzz is fuzzing me.
Yeah, that is the one thing about outdoor plants is you will get sometimes bird poop on them.
Yeah.
You will get, fluff from dandelions or thistles that have gone to seed. But most of it's pretty
Pretty good.
easy to deal with.
And like I was saying too, when we're dealing with all of this fresh flower, sometimes I see,
So good.
isn't it great?
Oh,
a lot of what I grow has a lot of fruit notes to it.
Oh, yummy.
But you just snap it off. It's so easy. Anyone can do this. Anyone's grandma could do this.
Science.
No. And I would say, the most ancient way of us cultivating this plant, there's one of my hares, because she caught one of my hares in the garden. Fantastic. Has been with their hands.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll get a head like that. It might be a little difficult, and that's where having your snips can be very helpful. But that's it. Here's another one that I have. And same idea. We just knock off these.
Oh, look at those lovely individuated blooms on that.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
And I love when you knock them back, or knock the leaves back, anyways, I should say, these fan leaves, is it reveals it's like a gift.
Yeah.
And
you can see how they grow, like a small one on one side and a big one and
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's usually got two smallers and then one biggie on the top.
Yeah.
So that's it. We just snap, snap, snap. Easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And this is something where, if you're trying to be fast, you can be, but I really love to just be super present with my plants.
Be mindful. It's like food prep. You can do it quick or you can do it mindfully. And like most things, if you approach it properly and mindfully, ultimately you'll get quicker. But
yeah, exactly.
It's like music. You can't play a piece of music quickly well until you can play it really slowly and really well.
It reminds me, music, and also chopping veg, like you said, in the kitchen. Like if I'm going to use that knife, if I just go a million miles a minute right out the gate, I'm probably going to take off a finger. Not necessarily here, but it's going to be a sloppy job for sure. But when you slow it down and you look at technique and you look at precision and presence, that's when you really get the quality coming out of things. And also I find that this is what saves you from being like, oh my God, I have so much work ahead of me. It gets you out of that headspace and it brings you back into communion with the plant.
Well, for too long, we've tried to work our bodies as though we're part of the machine. It's a conveyor belt, it's a assembly line, it's get it done. And we're not machines. We are mindful beings. And, if we approach it in that light, it is not only a better product in the end, it's actually a lot more of an enjoyable experience.
Oh my goodness. I've honestly had the best day. I barely slept, but I've had the best day just working with cannabis this way. And what I can say too is once we get into a groove, that's when these beautiful insights from spirit start to come in. These inspirations, these ahas, these moments where we really do feel that connection with the divine. And it's not that we've lost it, but it's that we've really allowed ourselves to get back into alignment, which is really exciting. So something as simple as trimming cannabis can really be transformative. And as you can see, I've got some yum hash started on my fingers. Now, for those of you who don't want sticky fingers, wear some gloves and you can just roll this off. One of the other ways you can get this off is oil. So if you just have some olive oil, which I have upstairs, just rub it on your hands.
I rub a light layer of oil on my hands usually before I start. And then that way I have no problem getting my finger hash off. It just kind of peels off. Look at that.
She's so pretty. She's very sparkly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll show you
Lovely
one of these
crystal.
other. I know, she turned out so well. Here, I'll do this one.
Oh.
You guys, I could literally do this all day.
Yeah.
I will sleep sometime, but in the meantime, I'm going to be doing this. And I have a lot of this ahead of me, so very exciting. Now, I'm curious from you guys that are watching, what are some of your favorite techniques when you are trimming your cannabis? What are the tools that you like to use? And, you know, what are some hacks that you think would be really helpful for us to share? Just leave them in the comments. Or if you're in the live chat, leave them in the live chat. I think it's great to share knowledge. And the other thing I'll say too is, you know, not everybody trims the same. You know, I've been on a lot of different trim crews and I've worked for a lot of different people, and everyone kind of has their style. So what I'd say is, you know, if you are working for someone else, I always like to ask how they want it done. Not so I'm going in and doing something and they're like, what's this? Maybe they want the California cut.
Yeah, you got to trim it the way your boss wants it done, even if it's not what you personally would do.
But if you're the boss,
yep.
Woohoo! Oh, just want to show you this.
So beautiful.
She's gorgeous. She's so crystally. So this is something that we'll probably enjoy a little bit of upstairs.
This is the autoflower?
This is the autoflower, yeah.
Nice.
All right. So shall we go upstairs? Bring a little bit of something to enjoy. Normally I'm pretty OCD. I would never leave it like this. I would literally clear everything off and disinfect it with alcohol, whether it's isopropyl alcohol or I've got Everclear, also works. But for now we're gonna leave it because I'm gonna be coming back after the show and continuing the work. All right. Okay. Well, welcome. Welcome. And Dayton, I can get the camera set up if you like. And I think Artemis is maybe trapped in the bathroom downstairs. Can you just check? I'm not 100% sure. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip the screen here. Yay! Get this all set up. Again, bear with me, techiness. All right, I think we're good. Oh, and you know what I forgot to do is pick that apple off the tree.
Oh, you did indeed.
I think once Dayton gets back, I'll ask him to do that for us. There is the most incredible apples that are blooming on my tree. I think I showed you guys. My Oma and Opa apple tree is literally giving us fruit for the first year, which is so exciting. I'm stoked. I just want to take a quick moment as we check on the kitty. And we'll get Dayton to grab that apple. I'll make this as straight as I can so people don't go nuts. I wanted to say hey to everybody who's joining us live. So I want to say hey to John Maddox. Yes, overgrow everything. So thank you so much for spreading that message of joy and love from the plant kingdom. It's so awesome. I want to say hey to Susie Sherlock.
Hey, Susie. Thank you so much for all the wonderful little tips and hints that you drop. Gee, you're just a wealth. It's lovely.
It's so good. Dayton, may I? Can you go pick that apple off the tree for us, please? We forgot to do that part. Thank you. I also want to say hey to a few people. Matthew Fernandez, thank you again so much for joining us. So good. Joey, hey. I want to say hey to and just love me for trying to do this. NAZ, Naz, Bear Grow 420. Hey, good to see you.
And Canna Mama.
And Canna Mama, so good to see you always. I want to say hey to Alvin Mace. And who else is here with us? Nut Tree 420. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Harvest Moon. Oh, we've got so many people here. That's awesome. Rare 710. Thank you for joining us again. Wonderful. Canna Mama. Yes, yes. Oh, you guys, I'm just so grateful that you're all here with us. So as we continue, I just wanted to touch base with you, Sarah. You know, you've obviously had a few cycles and harvests. And I'm curious, like, what does the harvest moon evoke in you or bring up in you or inspire you to do, or what are some of the memories that are associated with this time? And while you share with us, I'm going to roll us a joint.
Yeah, I love Harvest Moon. Fall's one of my favorite times of year. I like the shift in seasons. I've lived in a few places where you get like a lot of winter and a tiny bit of summer. And it doesn't make me happy. I like a nice balance. But the harvest moon is particularly useful. I mean, the thing that I like about the harvest moon is you literally can be out harvesting all the way around the clock. When I lived on the prairies, I would often, the heavy dew would interfere with any grain production in the morning. So the farmers would be out there harvesting till 3, 4 in the morning till the dew started to settle. Then they'd come home and they'd sleep till 10:30, 11 o'clock. Get up, have a huge breakfast, and by 1 or 2 they could be ready to get back out on the field. And with the harvest moon shining down, you've actually still got a lot of light, and it's really quite miraculous. I also just love how the harvest moon looks on the horizon. I mean, it looks like a giant pumpkin. It's enough to make you believe in Linus and the Great Pumpkin rising up out of the patch.
Maybe it is.
Maybe it is. But yeah, no, harvest moons are fun. And making special food for harvest, like we were talking earlier about moon cakes.
Yes.
And how fun that is. It was one of my favorite things about living in a larger city was the opportunity to go down to the places and that you can get more foods from other cultures, and getting the moon cakes from my favorite Chinese bakery out on Pender Street was always a treat in Vancouver. And of course, pumpkin pie.
So good.
So good. I mean, I'm not sure we need pumpkin spice in everything, but I can't imagine getting through fall without pumpkin pie.
Me either. So I'm just taking a look here. For those of you that are watching, can you see us? Because I'm taking a look at the YouTube and I can see you guys talking, but I'm not seeing the live feed. Can you guys just let us know if you're seeing us or not?
Are we being seen?
I don't know. No one's letting me know. Uh-oh. Let me just see here. Oh yeah, there we are. Okay, good. Sorry, I had a little panic attack. I was like, we went through a lot of shit, and if we missed you guys, oh my God. Okay, learning. Obviously, I'm not the tech one. I know, Dayton. Between me and Sarah, we are not the techie ones. There we go. Okay. And Uber Sticky. Good to see you too. Okay, I'm seeing more people. G-Russ, thank you for the thumbs up. Awesome. Noah 420, 710 Dabber. So I've got this delicious joint for us to enjoy. And I'm gonna roll a couple more. Oh, hang on. I was like super prepared, but it's all in my secret, my secret pouch.
I have one too.
We're
Lighter,
prepared.
as well as pouch.
Yes, we need some light.
Both.
And Dane, I'm gonna roll you a nice joint too. You guys can't see my brother from another mother behind the camera, but he is just so stellar for helping us with this and providing support to the ladies. So just thank you. Thank you so much. Now, what are you guys all toking on? Are you dabbing? Are you enjoying some rosin? Are you having some bubble hash? Are you having a nice big fat doobie like us? What are you guys enjoying? Let us know. Oh, good. Yeah. Bong rip. Thank you. Bingo Lombardi. Thank you so much.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Bong rip.
Bong rip, mother lovers. Love it.
Water or ice in that bong?
Matthew Fernandez, we are smoking a Northern Lights No. 5 cross with Pineapple Express.
And it's very tasty.
It's so good. This was grown with love in my garden. Earlier, I think it was last episode, it's the one that I refer to as Chunky Monkey. That's the one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, someone, Din Din. Okay, you enjoy cheetah piss. Delicious.
Sometimes I think cannabis growers get a little carried away with what they name cultivars.
Can I just share? There's one that I know a lot of people love. It's called Violator, but I actually renamed it. I call Violator enthusiastic consent.
I love it.
So, you can play with it, things like Killing Fields, or even Green Crack Godbud. I like to rename that Green Goddess Godbud. That's just me. I'm sure that there's growers out there and geneticists that are like, no, my hard work, but pick some better names.
I try and somehow or other trace the genetic thread. Like Kinky Pinky is from the pink cotton and the Romulan strain.
I love Romulan.
Yeah, so
good. So good. It's interesting how something that started off as a sativa can get bred into a pretty heavy indica type. Just interesting.
Yeah, and Taj Mahal, it's two Indian strains. It's a heavy Kush and a sativa, a Hindu sativa.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, it looks like everyone's having some good stuff here. And some good laughs. Yes. Here you go, Dean. Yeah.
Okay.
Beta. So please enjoy the joints. And as for toking, I really would love for you guys to share or just think about, what does this harvest moon mean for you? It doesn't necessarily have to be, cultivating what's literally in your garden. This can also be a time in your life where you're harvesting. Oh, right here, Dayton. Where you're harvesting different aspects of self, or you're bringing something into fruition. Think about this idea of sustainability and security, which I think a lot of people can resonate with when we think about the harvest. And I want to ask you guys, considering it's been a very tumultuous year, let's say that as an understatement, what are some things that you're grateful for this harvest? And what have you been enjoying? And what are your harvest moon intentions? Because this is a full moon. She's so gorgeous. I'm hopefully going to see her later in the sky. I was enjoying her last night. But I'm curious for you guys, what does this mean for you? And what are the intentions that you're seeding into this next cycle? You might have remembered me saying from previous episodes that the full moon really is a full illumination. And oftentimes we live life secularly, month by month, cycle by cycle. I'm just curious for you, what does this cycle, what is this peak pinnacle moment revealing to you at this time? I've seen that there's been a lot of conflict with people that I know, big blow-ups or fiery energy, needing to speak your truth, needing to be in your own integrity, no matter what people think. All of this is
Well,
is
with
really
Uranus in retrograde,
fun.
yeah.
We are having a good time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know. When
All those deep buried things are coming to the surface.
Well, can you share with us too, from like a biodynamic gardening perspective, it's the full moon time and we're in full moon in Aries.
Yeah.
What would that represent for people?
Well, Aries is a fire sign. And so it's not right at this next few days. It's not a good time to get planting, but it has been. We had a wonderful, wonderful, big, long planting window leading up into it. But once we get through this full moon and move out of Aries into Taurus, Taurus being an earth sign, will be a wonderful time to get bulbs and that into the ground. So your garlic, your tulips, your daffodils, your hyacinths, any of your root type things will be doing really well, because Taurus is an earth sign, so anything underground. And once the moon's gone full, you're planting in what we call the dark of the moon. And so, you want to be planting from now to the third quarter anything that grows underground.
Okay.
So anything that depends heavily on root
Okay.
system. And that can include fruit trees and shrubs and that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you say that now would be a good time to plant like new trees or shrubs? Because you and I had talked about maybe some blueberry bushes.
Once we move into Taurus. Right now we're in a fire sign, so don't plant anything. But
Okay.
excellent for harvesting. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
You know, excellent for pruning. Excellent for killing off any unwanted pests, taking things out. If you've got a chunk of plant that you want to rip out and get out of your garden, Aries is the sign to do it in.
Okay.
And in the dark of the moon is better than when when the moon starts to wane. That's better for those energies than when it's waxing. When it's waxing, you're getting all that really good growth energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you say even like more of like a dormancy time that we're going to be moving into?
Well, just for the next day or two.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the thing is your moon sign changes every 2.5 days.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It goes through the whole cycle in a month.
In 28 days.
Things shift. So if you guys want to learn more about biodynamic gardening or you're not too sure what we're talking about aligning the moon and the astrological influences with your gardening practices. And you can learn more about that with Sarah Bradshaw through Wise Women Seeds. You can find her on Facebook. So if you go to Wise Women Seeds on Facebook.
And we got a website now.
Yeah, congratulations!
Yeah, not everything in it is working, but all of the emails and all the contact information does. So yay.
So what's your website?
wisewomanseeds.com.
Nice. So go check out Sarah, go support local. She is the real deal and she will blow your mind. So please check her out. There's just so much else I want to ask, but you had mentioned earlier moon cakes. Mm-hmm. And I found a really cool book. So like I was sharing earlier, Stephen, my former business partner and one of my very dear friends, he gifted me that gorgeous piece of art, that Metatron's cube that I supercharge all my medicines and all my herbal remedies with. And the other thing that he left me with are these really cool cookbooks. So it looks really boring, but this is actually a Chinese seasons cookbook. He used to be a Red Seal certified chef. And I wanted to read to you what it has to say about fall, specifically the festival of the harvest moon. So as the days grow shorter and the balmy breezes of summer become brisk with the first chill of fall, the moon begins to reach a luminous fullness. At this time, the Chinese begin their preparations for the festival of the harvest moon, which takes place on the 15th day of the eighth month of the lunar calendar. So that was a couple of days ago today. For the Chinese, this holiday officially marks the arrival of autumn. The ancient Chinese believed that this was the time of the year when the feminine principle, signifying darkness and cold, begins to take the upper hand in nature. The moon, which is considered a female deity, was believed to consist of yin fluid or water. On the evening of the moon festival, the moon is at its brightest, and for only one night. So the Chinese say it is perfectly round. In ancient China, since this festival was dedicated to a female deity, it was the responsibility of the women in the household to honor the moon and orchestrate the festivities. 5 plates were set out on an altar stacked with apples, peaches, pomegranates, grapes, and melon. The round shape of the fruits resembled the moon and symbolized the family unit. A tablet inscribed with the design of a rabbit, known as the moon hare, was also placed on the altar. Around midnight, when the moon was nearing its fullest stage, the ancient ritual would begin. A pair of candles was lit, and incense sticks were burned in the family urn. A poster showing the moon hare standing under the sacred cassia tree and pounding the pill of immortality on his mortar was first displayed, then removed and burned. The festival that followed this rite lasted for 3 days. Nowadays, in modern China, the holiday is celebrated by moon gazing and by sampling mooncakes, a traditional delicacy since ancient times. Mooncakes are eaten with as much enthusiasm today as in the past. For weeks before the holiday, bakeries are brimming with countless varieties of mooncakes, sweet and savory alike. The cakes are usually circular or take the form of a rabbit, fish, or pagoda. Since sweet moon cakes are often cloying and rich with pork lard, many contain a salty duck egg in the center for contrast. Sweet fillings consist of lotus seeds, candied fruits, and nuts. Savory mooncakes are stuffed with pork, dried shrimp, and assorted vegetables, but there are numerous variations on both sweet and savory themes. Mooncakes have earned a special place in the hearts of the Chinese because they were used by the enslaved Han Chinese during the Yuan dynasty from 1271 to 1368 to hide messages for a planned overthrow of their Mongolian oppressors. The rebellion was successful. Oh, I felt that. Marking the beginning of the Ming dynasty from 1368 to 1644. And since that time, mooncakes have been a special favorite by many Chinese. They're not only an inexpensive delicacy, owing to their sumptuous fillings, and many Chinese set aside money throughout the year to pay for the generous supply that is traditionally sent to relatives and friends for the holiday. Some resourceful recipients recycle the cakes that they receive by changing the name on the box and sending them on to their family and friends without ever breaking open the seal. So if you guys want some mooncake recipes, hit me up. I can absolutely send those to you. But I think it's really important that we know more about the history of this time, you know, and like I was sharing, you know, my Oma, she would always talk about the harvest time as being her literal favorite time of year, where they would be finished with all the harvest, everything would be put away, they have the peace of mind, you know, that, okay, the work is done, I can finally rest. But before I do, we are going to party our asses off. So it was her family, and then all of the surrounding neighbors in the community. And if you know farming communities, you're very widespread. So everybody from this region would come together and gather at Oma, or my Oma's house. My Oma's mother, Teresa, yes, her name is Teresa, at her house, where she would prepare moonshine and lots of food, and there would literally be a festivity that would happen all night. I remember Oma describing, you know, dancing and singing and laughing and seeing her uncle, you know, drunk but happy, you know, and having this musician play an accordion with one leg. So for her, it was a very auspicious, fun time, and it was really the pinnacle of the year. So if you're going to do anything as we get into these darker times, I really want to invite you to celebrate now. You know, we've gone through a lot. If you're a gardener or a farmer, you know how much work you've put into your garden, and now we're really reaping all of those beautiful fruits and seeds that we've sown. So enjoy, take pause, celebrate. I invite you and I implore you to do that. Now, one of the other ways I think is really cool to celebrate and also look at symbolism is through the apple. So I was sharing with Sarah and Dayton before this that, and I was sharing with you too, that our apple tree is finally bearing fruit after 3 years. And this is the tree that we have Opa's ashes laid at. So I really do see it as a wisdom tree. I've got a little bit of Oma's hair there in the soil, obviously. And I really feel symbolically this is kind of a, I don't know, like a moving forward of the ancestry, of the lineage moving forward in a way for them to continue to feed us even beyond them physically being able to do that. You know, they're doing it in spirit. They're doing it through this next fruit endeavor.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, you know, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Yes.
The
Yes.
second best time to plant a tree is right away.
Okay.
But this is what happens when you plant a tree. You know, years ago, somebody other than you is likely to come along and harvest the fruit. That's beautiful. That's a lovely little apple.
It's a good little apple, and she's got a little ding in the back, which is okay. You know, one of the things I think is hilarious about our time is this idea that it has to be this perfect looking fruit, and if it's not, then it's not worth anything. Whereas, you know, I know that these little babies are packed full of deliciousness, and literally the other day, I harvested one right off the tree and had my first bite, and it was legit the best apple I've ever tasted in my life. It was so sweet and juicy and crispy. It was gorgeous.
Do you know what variety?
Yeah, this is the Honeycrisp.
Okay.
So on the tree, we've got Fuji, Honeycrisp, and a few others. I guess it depends on where you picked it from. I'm guessing this is the Honeycrisp.
It's a Honeycrisp.
Yeah. But you and I were talking last time about rituals and apples. And one of the things that I wanted to do here with all of you is something very special. So if you can imagine that the apple really does hold wisdom and is symbolic really of life itself. And if we're placing these intentions into this harvest moon now of this next cycle, for example, and celebrating the fruits of our labor and these wonderful gifts and lessons that we've all been gleaning as we move through this time, I'd really love to set an intention with you now so we can plant this seed in the future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the apple not top down, but through the middle. And what happens there is the pentacle is revealed. And I know for myself, when I'm eating apples at home, what I'll do is I'll just cut the apple all around until I've got the core, and I'll cut the core in half, and I'll set an intention for the day. So I wanted to invite you all to infuse your love and your energy into this apple as we set our intention for this next cycle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half, and then we're going to snack on it. And I'm sharing it with you energetically through the internet. Oh, thank you, Dayton. So I'm going to just hold it up for all of you. Put your intention for yourself and for the world into this apple. And imagine this apple as a representation of all of those energies, feelings, thought forms, beliefs, and beyond. And as we cultivate this energy together, I place the apple down on my plate and I begin to cut carefully.
Beautiful.
And what's revealed, ooh, it's a cute little star. You can sort of see it. But here's that star formation. Sarah's cutting some more.
Well, one of the things I like to do with apples is cut them like this. Just a few slices so you can see the star. When you make your apple pie, put some of them on the top.
Oh, yes.
It just looks so gorgeous.
You know what? I've been playing around with recipes for apple galette. So I'm going to play around with that. Thank you for that. And what a great way to set an intention. Dayton, do you want some?
Love some.
Yes. Enjoy.
So yummy.
Isn't it good?
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm so impressed with these apples. They're delicious. Oh my God.
Chunk of cheddar cheese and an oat cake.
All right.
It's actually been my breakfast for about the last 3 or 4 days. My daughter brought me a great big bag of really lovely Ravensteins, which are juicy and tart. And so that's been my morning breakfast, is slices of apples with cheddar cheese and oat cakes.
And see, I've had for the last couple of nights, my snack has been an apple with either feta cheese, or I go the other way, or I go super sweet, where I get some peanut butter and some organic hazelnut chocolate spread. So good. But I gotta say, these apples are so sweet and so juicy. It kind of explodes in your mouth a little bit.
Nobody's Business makes a cannabis infused hazelnut and maple spread.
What?
Yeah, it's out of this world.
Nobody's business but your own. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a teaspoon has like 10 milligrams of infused cannabis in it.
Oh my God, that's like dangerously delicious.
Oh yeah.
I would eat that.
Oh yeah.
Be on the sugar high.
Little tiny bit of it.
Oh yeah, sorry. So that was Nobody's Business but your own, right?
Yeah, Nobody's Business, the cannabis chocolate ladies out of Vancouver.
They're so good. If you go to Instagram, you'll be able to find them, and they do custom orders. I know that they're going to be coming up with their they've got these amazing chocolates that they put together for the holidays that you can pre-order. So please do that.
Are they going to do an advent calendar?
I hope so.
Wouldn't I? Oh, I'd love that. I would
I
so love that.
And the thing is, with their chocolates, they're like these decadent, dark, vegan chocolates.
Oh,
and they actually
so
take like the rinds and they zest their own infusions,
Yeah.
as well as, you know, they add things like cardamom and blueberries, all organically sourced.
Yeah. And if you can't, sometimes I just save myself a little bit of hassle and get a hold of Siobhan McCarthy at Blissful Alchemy, because she carries their stuff as well.
I love her so much. Yes.
That's Blissful with a Y.
Mm-hmm.
Blissful Alchemy, and all sorts of all things good in the cannabis world at Blissful Alchemy. But
yes.
if I'm putting an order in, I'll just piggyback my nobody's business in on top.
Nice, nice. Yeah, honestly. So Blissful Alchemy is going to be joining forces with us at Flower of Life, and we are going to be doing another workshop at the end of October, medicine making workshop. If you're local and you want to learn how to infuse, so take something like this and turn it into an oil, like an olive oil or a grapeseed oil or coconut oil, and then infuse that into your cooking or into topicals or into a whole host of other types of products like suppositories. We'll be teaching you how to do that. And if you're not local, that's okay. We've only got 2 spots left out of 4 because of restrictions for people in a space. But if you want to join us online, let us know. Shoot me an email. You can go to my website, floweroflifeclinic.ca or floweroflifecannabis.com. Just shoot me a little thing in the contact box and I'll add you to the list. Details coming next week, so stay tuned.
You know, I've been making cannabis edibles and cannabis topicals for over 20 years. And I signed up and took Siobhan's workshop this past summer, and it was worth every nickel.
And helped you save every nickel too.
Oh yeah, because she shows you all sorts of amazing hacks. She's got wonderful recipes. The experience itself is just amazing because she's an amazingly good teacher. But you know, don't think that you have to be brand new at doing this to take her workshop. Like you'll gain a lot no matter what level you're at. I'd be hard pressed to name a workshop that I enjoyed more or got more out of.
Honestly, I had a blast, and she crammed all this information into like 3.5 hours.
Oh yeah,
amazing. So please join us for that if you're interested. I wanted to just open it up to questions from everybody that's joining us live. If you got any questions for either myself or Sarah or Dayton, who's behind the camera, by all means, ask some questions. We'd love to answer them. I'm just reading your comments here. So yum. I think we're all hungry now. If you want to pause and take a snack break, you can do that. If you're not watching live, you can just hit pause. Or just listen to us while you're snacking on some stuff.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. We will not judge you. And I keep smelling this flower because it's so good.
It's so lovely.
Oh, you guys, this is what the harvest is all about, is like celebrating. So thank you so much for celebrating with us.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting how harvest festivals and that have evolved, because there was a time when, you know, you were eating the excess, or, you know, you were butchering off the excess animals that you couldn't keep through the winter. And, you know, so there was a lot of feasting. But then, you know, things changed, and we had a lot of communities like your grandmother grew up in, where, you know, that there wasn't that as much that going on, but travel was still relatively difficult. So, you know, communities had gotten more widespread and farms were more widely scattered around. We weren't living in a little village and traveling up to fields anymore. People were living on their farms. But, you know, the Harvest Festival was kind of the last hurrah before winter set in and you couldn't get anywhere. You couldn't go anywhere. And I mean, I lived for quite a few years in northern Alberta, and it would be, oh God, please don't plan a big thing at Christmas. Just don't. Like, we might make it, we might not. You know, so my in-laws kind of had unending open house from the time that schools started closing down for the kids until, mid-January. And you kind of got to the farm when it worked for you,
And also when you physically could.
Yeah, when the weather was okay, but the fall festival, like the Thanksgiving get together and that, like, we all made it. It was like, it's not winter yet, we can do this, all the cousins will see each other. And I really quite love those fall gatherings,
They're my favorite. I've been thinking about having like a very intimate little harvest gathering with us, like my favorites in a room, trying to be COVID safe and also celebrating because we probably won't see each other for a while after.
You could swap pot crops.
Yeah! Let's do that. Everyone bring your jar.
Yeah.
And then let's share. We can smell all the jars. It'll be so good. If you guys want to join us digitally, you're more than welcome.
We could have a cannabis cooking contest.
Oh, I love that. Well, yes, please. Have a cook-off. A cannabis cook-off. Man, we're all gonna sleep so good that night. Okay, so we've got some questions. Matthew Fernandez wants to know, how did you get started in the seed business? Into seed collecting, I should say.
Cheapskate gardener.
Yeah.
Like if I could gather a cutting or seeds that need having to buy them. But no, years ago, probably a good 35, 40 years ago, I started, just saving and swapping seeds. But almost 30 years ago now, we started the seed swap that is in Enderby. First Saturday of March every year, without fail. First Saturday of March, biggest seed swap in BC. But I kind of grew up in an era where it was more common for gardeners to save their seeds than it is now. My mom didn't always save her seeds, but she might as well have, because she bought the exact same varieties year after year after year after year. It was kind of a running joke, because she grew up on the prairies. And when she moved to BC, her options could have been much huger, but she kind of kept buying what she bought all along. But no, seed saving's easy. And I just kind of fell into it. It was like,
It's fun.
Yeah,
I started collecting my seeds in the garden. I've got like several bags. I've got a ridiculous amount of catnip if you need it. Oh my God. Take it away. But it's so exciting. And then I love the idea too, not the idea, I actually love gifting seeds. It's one of my favorite, it's like, here's food, here's an herb that you'll need or that can benefit your life. Like, here's life. Yeah. In a perfect little package.
Well, in the last couple of years, 3 very young, very unexpected deaths happened in my circle. Like, just total bolts out of the blue in every single case. And the first one was a lovely young woman in her 30s who was the mom of 3 boys. And she got pneumonia. She got really sick. Her organs went septic. She never revived. And there was just nothing to do. I mean, I'd watched this girl grow up. She was a close, daughter of a close friend. And so but Jessie was an avid gardener. And so I put together seed packs of morning glories because they were one of her favorite flowers, and put them together for people. And I knew that it was going to really matter to her mom and her sister. I had no idea of the scope of what it was going to do. Like, her middle boy, who's 11 now, I believe. He has grown those flowers every year and gathered seeds and tells people about them and has the little packet that they came in.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and so now we've started collecting them. We're looking at this year or the next year incorporating selling them with the money going into the education fund that their aunt started for the boys. You know, so I continued that when your Oma died, we made those little heart seeds packets. Same when a young woman.
We scattered them right on her grave. It was like, haha.
Yeah, and we had a single dad who his sister's a very good friend of mine, and again it was like so sudden, and there was nothing to do, and I put together about 100 of these packets, and that was the only thing that the family wanted more of. It was like everybody got in touch and said, can you do more? So over the years, I really started to see more and more just how precious seeds are. They're our future.
They are our future. And yeah. And I love the gifting of that to somebody, and the symbolism of what that can bring. I remember years ago you said one of the best things you could give a newlywed couple is some seed packets to start their garden.
Yeah.
Because then they'll be able to have a garden for the rest of their life.
You
literally fed them for life.
Yeah. Natalie is very involved with the food bank and the good food boxes. So 2 years ago, we started putting packets of seeds every month in the good food boxes that were seasonally appropriate. It's
Nice.
winter, here's some sprouting seeds. It's springtime, here's some tomato seeds. And you don't break a cycle immediately, but if you offer people new things, they're likely to try.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely changed my life for the better. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just taking a look in the chat really quick and see if there's any other questions. Oh, Uber, good night. Have a good night. Aw, nice. Uber sticky. He's out. Okay. Yeah.
You're going to want to do meditation, aren't you?
I do. I just wanted to make sure that everyone, if you had questions, we'd love to answer them. But let's segue into the next portion of this, which is the Harvest Moon Cannabis Meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to do is just invite everybody to just take like a moment. If you need to like move, if you need to like have a drink, just kind of like move it out, get comfy. Need a water, have a water. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna settle in. And actually for this one, I know it's the harvest moon, but we're gonna have some tropical leaves this time. I want you to enjoy this beautiful friend over here. Here's our little monstera. She's doing good.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So if you guys just want to like take a moment, take a few deep, conscious breaths. And just notice. Notice how you feel. As we turn our attention inward, I invite you to connect with your heart. Just bring your attention and your awareness there. With every breath, I invite you to expand that heart space out. This heart space is authentically you. It's your essence. It's who you are. And what I'd love for you to do is allow your pure essence to expand and move anything that doesn't belong to you or isn't in alignment with that, or that you're ready to let go of, just move it outside of your energy field, maybe somewhere up to 2 or more feet away from you. And in your mind's eye, I just want you to imagine your heart space growing larger and larger and bigger with each breath, continuing to expand and creating this beautiful bubble around you of energy. And just notice how you feel. And as we continue to tune in, we first thank Gaia, our Earth Mother, for bringing us such a beautiful friend in cannabis. And as you see your friend, you move closer and you notice that the sun begins to set and the moon begins to rise. And you see not only her beautiful glistening flowers go from sunlight to moonlight, but you see a whole other facet of her in the dark that reveals itself to you. You begin to notice not only her beauty, but her aroma drawing you in, as if to say, welcome, come, enjoy, let's delight together. And as you smell her beautiful flower, you both smile in appreciation for each other and for all of the gifts that you've given each other throughout these many, many cycles together. Not only in your own life, but in these eons, humanity and cannabis co-evolving together. And as that urge overtakes you to smell her flower, and as you smile together, you begin to notice that your energies align. And it's as if you are one. And as you tune into her beautiful body, unfolded perfectly in the moonlight, you feel her strength and you feel her wisdom. And you feel her presence within you, holding you, guiding you, igniting inspiration within you. And tuning into this unfolding, you notice that she stands proud. She has received your love day after day after day and grown, and is now smiling back at you as if a sunflower facing the sun. And she says to you, thank you for the healing, and thank you for the medicine. Thank you for the nurturance, and thank you for a safe space to grow and be. I am at my fullest expression, and it is because of your devotion and your dedication to our relationship, to our connection. And as you feel her gratitude wash over you, you pulse back to her
Thank you, cannabis. Thank you for your gifts, for your wisdom. Thank you for the medicine. Thank you for the healing. Thank you for the healing. Thank you for the medicine. And as you continue to appreciate each other, you're inspired to tell her, and she receives your message. And she nods to you. And you begin to hear her hum, gently at first, and then louder and louder. Sharing with you that it's time. Her flowers are at their full blossom. Her essence is at its most grand. Her expression is at its fullest, and it is time. She speaks to you and says, "This medicine is for you. I grew this for you as a token and as a symbol and as a gesture of my gratitude. I give this to you. May it uplift your life the way that you've uplifted mine. And may it continue to generate joy for you each and every day. As a reminder of our friendship and our bond forever. I will be in you as you have been with me. You nod back to cannabis, and she knows that the messages have been received. And with so much gratitude in your heart, you let her know that it is time and that you will help facilitate. She lets you know she's ready. One last smile. And as she surrenders, you make that cut with gratitude. Thank you. And with every other successive cut is a thank you. And you continue to honor each other through your presence and your awareness when working together. And even after her death, she still speaks to you, and speaks with you and through you, reminding you how much she loves you, and that you've always got a friend in her. As you bring her beautiful branches inside and prepare her, noticing her beautiful geometry as you turn the branch over and over and over again. You realize that the communication never ended, it just changed. And as you hang her to dry, the symbol and the representation and the actual gift of what she's given you, you put her there with appreciation and love, with intention, and you thank her. And as she prepares and she becomes ready, she continues to share her wisdom with you. Different ways you can work with her body, different ways you can work together, you can play together in the kitchen, making salve, making beautiful medicines for yourself and for those you love. And she whispers the recipes to you, holding your hand. She's with you. And at this time of the harvest moon, she reminds you that she's with you. She loves you. And that with her entire being gives her most precious resources to you with love and with gratitude. Take a moment and notice how you feel. When you're ready, I invite you back into this space. Feel your feet. Feel your hands. Feel the support beneath you. And welcome back. Oh, some strong cannabis. I hope that you guys really enjoy this harvest moon time and that you take time to appreciate your relationship with cannabis and all of the gifts that she's really brought to your life so far. Now, I'm reminded I need to quickly send a text. So I wanted to just kind of leave it with you, Sarah. Are there any parting words that you'd like to share with us?
Get your drugs tested.
Fuck yeah, get your drugs tested. .com.
Yeah.
So getyourdrugstested.com is an incredible platform that was created by Dana Larson and Dory Dempster out of the dispensary. And what they've done is they've created an online platform. You can just, oh, right, okay. Can you text Marcus? It's like, text me.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, take care of each other out there, you know, like know your medicine, know what you're getting, know who you're getting it from, you know, stay safe and enjoy the harvest.
Enjoy the harvest indeed. And what I'd like to really just share with you too is that this really is a magical time. So if you're feeling like you are like buzzy, like that, like the ding, if you have so much energy right now that you just can't help yourself, I really want to invite you to just flow with it. I know it might feel counterintuitive, but energies like now are wonderful. And I think that they can inspire a lot of shift and growth and change. So if you ride the wave, I think you're going to be extra delighted at those fruits as well. Other things that I wanted to mention really quick is if you guys want to find me, you can find me at floweroflifecannabis.com. You can also find me on Instagram. If you go to Selena Sativa is me personally. If you go to Flower of Life Cannabis, that's the other portion of what we do. And like you were saying, to find you, that would be at wisewomanseeds.com now.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep, you bet.
So that's really exciting. Again, I want to have a special thank you to everybody that came also and stayed with us and was joining us for the live. So again, special shout outs to everybody. Susie Sherlock, we love you and thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. And Canna Mama, so good to see you. So good to see you. We've got Acolyte of Psychedelia. Thank you for joining us. And yes, we will carry our torch up high. So feel it. I also want to say hey to Den of Fire. We're very blessed to have you here with us too. Matthew Fernandez, always great to see you here. And thank you so much too for your courage and just what you're doing in the community. I'm so blown away at what you're going to be creating, and just keep going. You're doing it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the future with you. For the future with people with you. John Maddox, thank you so much for joining us again. It's always great to see you here, and I really appreciate just your positivity, and I just want to send you blessings. Who else? CBD voter, great to see you here again too. We've got Uber Sticky, thanks for joining us before. It was great to see you. Grauze, good to see you too. Thanks for being here. There's somebody, I want to say your name, but it's a little, you know who you are. Thanks for coming. Peter 421. Yeah, just grateful that you decided to join us. If I've missed anybody, I apologize. Oh, Bingo Lombardi, of course. Thank you. And thank you so much for just helping support everything that we're doing here. Just so grateful. Yeah. And behind the scenes, Dayton, thank you so much for being our support. I'm just so grateful for you. Thank you for being my brother. And of course, thank you so much, Marcus, for allowing us to share on Bubble Man's Worlds with your friends in your community. We're so grateful to be a part of it and to be sharing from the heart. So yeah, super grateful. Thank you. I'm just thinking, is there anything else that we got to say to wrap this thing up? I wish I could play the Harvest Moon song for you guys. So I'm going to invite you to just play Harvest Moon right now and just kind of fade out with that. And in the meantime, we'll be in the chat for a few more minutes, and I look forward to seeing you guys again in a few weeks. And Sarah, thank you so much again for being our guest.
Oh, it was fun.
Oh God, it always is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, take care. We will see you guys soon. And as always, have a wonderful harvest moon, but also have a wonderful moon. And we'll see you around the new moon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.